What's up, Elite Army? This is your kinda well, kinda toxic host, Sarah Rittendale, bringing you another episode of Wellish. This one is fucking deep, dude. Because literally nothing you think is your own thoughts. Every fucking thought that we have is based off of what we've been exposed to in the world and the perceptions that we have created based on those exposures. So, like, yes, they're your own thoughts because it's your interpretation of what is happening. And I have to believe that there is, like, your soul, you know what I mean? Like, now we're getting into, like, that kind of thing. But taking this from a self-love lens, from a personal development lens, like everything that we think are thoughts that have been created and perceptions that have been created in our mind because of the things in our lives and the people in our lives that we've been exposed to. Because it really relies on the exact placement that you have in this life. The parents you were born to, the schools you went to, the people that were introduced into your life, the challenges that have showed up, the things out of your control that have happened in your life, the exact point in time that you were born, like that we were all born in this era of the world. It all factors into the way that you think and perceive life. Bro, like, you guys could get me on a tangent on this one because your girl kind of believes in reincarnation. Not kind of, I definitely do. And I could really go far into this because I've got lots of theories for it. But this specifically, it just makes me think this because we can be reincarnated and not realize it because of everything in your life that influences who you are. Like, if you are your own soul, but you were born in a shack in Zimbabwe, or you are rich as fuck, born in medieval times, you could be the same soul, but you would have such a different experience, which is why you could grow up next door neighbors to somebody and have a similar life, but also be so different because of what you were exposed to. Hence why siblings could be so different because they had similar upbringings, but different interpretations of those upbringings based on other things outside of the house that they were exposed to. Your life can be so different solely based on what we experience and what we see and what we're involved in. It's honestly one of those things that could make me cry if I think about it for too long because it gets like so deep and involved. But let's chill out from the mind fucking for a second and look at this from a bird's eye view. Because really there's a lot of opportunity that comes from looking at life this way. It doesn't have to be so like terrifying and mind fucking. It can really be an opportunity to shift our mindsets. It's an opportunity to have any mindset you want to an extent because we're still human and we're still living in this society and we've still been exposed to tons of things up to this point to make us who we are today. And there's just so many things ingrained into the way we think and the way we operate and who we are that probably aren't going to all be undone because it's just so much of our programming. But just the awareness alone can really help us recognize areas that we can shift our mindset a little bit more so you don't have to be so like fucking stuck in this one mindset that upsets you constantly. We talked about this yesterday with Heather, like just straight coincidence that the image that we've created in our mind of what we want our body to look like if we have body image issues, or honestly even if you don't have body image issues but you have this like perception of what you would like to look like, that idea in our head isn't even our own thought. It's based off of what we've been told is right and attractive and good to look like through people telling us that, or people telling us our own flaws, or just seeing it constantly all of the time and subtly telling us what is good and what is bad. And that blows my mind because I'm like, no, this is my image in my head that I've created. This is my idea of what I want for myself. You know, I'm setting a realistic expectation. I'm not doing anything crazy. But the image in my head, if I really think about it, is based off of, again, those ideas of what's good and bad, what's right and wrong, what's attractive and not attractive. And I sure as shit didn't come up with those. I was told those. Those were given to me. I might have my own opinions about it, but for the most part, I still agree with the rest of society about what attractive and not attractive is subconsciously, because that's all I've ever been told. And until I switch the mindset and see all people as beautiful, it doesn't start to dissipate. But because this has been pounded into our heads for so long, you just think that that's the way it is until you realize that it's not. Which, sidebar, is a really cool concept if you want to try to go out into the world and in your head, you don't have to say it out loud, but in your head, look at literally every person you see and say, you are beautiful, you are beautiful, you are beautiful. You really do see the world so much nicer than just like existing and trying to sift through a crowd. I went to Disney World last weekend and I couldn't help but do that I was just like irritated about the hordes of people that were in there, to the point that it was almost gross, that like, you know, when you see a pile of ants on the floor, and you're like, oh my God, that's too many ants, I'm going to fucking bomb. That's how I felt. But then when I started doing that practice of calling everybody beautiful, it made the area that I was in a much more peaceful, pleasant place to be. So that's a really cool concept. But again, until you have that awareness, you're going to go through life with these ideas of what's good and bad. And then, of course, be applying them to yourself. The thing with this too is you can't just create concepts out of thin air. That's not how the mind works. It's the same concept as if you were to be like, oh, talking about a yellow Volkswagen Beetle, and then you see yellow Volkswagen Beetles all over the place. Your mind looks for the thing that it is focused on or it's thinking about. So in that sense, you say to yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. Now your brain looks for evidence in your everyday life to prove the theory that you're thinking in your head. And you see time and time again, oh yeah, see, obviously I'm not good enough, because it's what you're looking for compared to you looking for the opposite evidence. Like your dreams, they are all based off of places you've seen or been, or people you've seen or been around, strangers on the street that you've passed. And maybe your brain like mushes places together and stuff like that, but it doesn't just create stuff out of thin air. It is ideas and exposures that we have experienced in our life. But this isn't just body image, it's our entire existence. It's thinking we need to accomplish certain life things, marriage, baby, house, dog, in certain order and by a certain age. Or that you think opposite and think, I'm going to go against the grain and I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to flourish and open a business and I'm going to take over the fucking world. Or in today's day and age with social media and seeing these influencer lifestyles, traveling all over the world, making money, doing your makeup on TikTok, like, we see these as possibilities for us, and that's fucking awesome because they are possibilities for us that we can work towards. But again, it's these mindsets that we're picking up from other areas of life. We didn't just fucking come up with that. It's deciding what you'll tolerate in your relationships, romantic, family, friends, whatever. It's going after what we think we deserve, or settling because we don't think we deserve much. It's people's opinions that have been given to you and you're holding on to their burden to bear instead of realizing that it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them, and letting them hold on to that and releasing it from your own life. But instead we internalize it and use it as ammo against ourselves to prove these ideas that we think badly about ourselves to be true. Instead of freaking yourself out that you're never going to escape the fact that our entire life is based off of mindsets that have been given to us from other people, we got to figure out a way to use it to our advantage, because we're always going to be living on earth with other people, and things are going to be happening that are out of our control in our lives, and we're going to experience tons of stuff. Having the awareness that you get to choose what your mindset is based on what has been given to you is literally all you need in order to take control of it. You are the one who decides whether or not having an Instagram body makes you good enough or not. You get to decide what career path you take makes you feel fulfilled. You get to decide whether or not to buy into the bullshit opinions people have of you or have had of you. When we realize that the mean thoughts that we have for ourselves are not ours, and that we didn't create them out of thin air, and that they have been expectations put onto us by society and by other people that really are people that are just afraid that they'll never be enough, and had perceptions based off of the things that have happened in their own life that have nothing to do with you. It allows us to have a lot more compassion for ourselves and therefore self-love. You're not loving yourself based off of reaching this set of standards. You're loving yourself because you know that the standards don't define who you are, and they don't decide whether you're good enough or not, and whether you're anything or not. You get to decide that. Your world has been made up of mindsets that have been given to you, and it's your choice whether you want to ride with them and decide that there's something about yourself that you could absolutely love and fuck with, or to let it go and not claim it as your own anymore, because it was never yours to begin with. Thank you so much for listening to day 6 of the 28 days of self-love. Make sure to subscribe so that you can tune in tomorrow for day 7, where we talk about how to validate yourself, a topic that I think is so important, and it is not talked about or taught enough, and it'll carry you through the rest of your life. I love this one. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Make sure your day kicks ass. Bye.